Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my 2023 yearly trackers flip through. So these are different trackers and charts and all sorts of things that I have made for different categories of my life for the year of 2023. I did go with a rainbow theme, and everything is like a Dutch door. All I did was I cut off the last 3 spaces so that I would have room for tabs. So here's your little sneak peek at the trackers I'm going to be showing you. Those are all health related. Then we move into the social media trackers for those social medias. And then it goes to my writing trackers. And then lastly, we're going to get to my bookish trackers. So I hope you're excited for all of that. Timestamps will be down below for the major categories because there's like 4 life categories that we'll be going over. So I'm going to show you what I've got going on. So first is going to be the health and wellness trackers. So first up, I have a workout log, and so every time I go to the gym, I will write down the date that I go, the type of workout that I do, and how much time I spent. And I've got 96 spaces for that. Next up, we have the food by time tracker. And this is where I will make something healthy or something I can easily grab. I can be like, all right, fruit, that's instant. So I can put down how long it takes to prepare that food in this little column here. This just helps because I do have ADD, and with that sometimes comes the like where you don't know time very well, in that you overestimate how long tasks that you don't want to do take, and you underestimate how long it takes to do tasks that you do like to do. So this is a way to combat that by me writing down the item and how long it actually takes for me to make, so that I don't resist cooking healthier things. Then we have the weight tracker. So I have a wellness report for workouts, vitamins, water, and sleep. And I do have trackers for those that I'll be keeping up with daily. So if I achieve these goals 80% of the time throughout the month, then I will check this off as well done. Then I have where I can put my weight in at the beginning of the month and then the first of the next month, and then the same thing goes throughout. I also want to do a recording of how many miles I do. This is probably going to be miles that I swim, not necessarily miles on a treadmill. So I would like to do like 100 miles for the year. If I'm consistent with going to the gym, I'll beat that. But I just think that's a good place to start, is 100 miles. Then we have the number of reps. I do weightlifting. I really enjoy weightlifting. So I think like 1,000 reps would be a cool place to start, so I can record that for the year. So yeah, and then there's a little bit of empty space where I can put down, like if I change sizes or something like that, I can write that down. Or if I have any wins, like increase to being able to lift 100 pounds or something. So just any sort of wins. I'm not really concerned about the weight. I just have the little scales there just so that I can keep track of it. But I'm more concerned about the wellness report here. Then we have some trackers over here. I want to be eating at least 1 fruit and vegetable per day. My body does not absorb nutrients the way that it should. I do also have hypothyroidism, and so I need to be eating healthier. So all I want to do is just reward myself. If I manage to eat 1 fruit and 1 vegetable each day, then I'll give myself credit for that. Then I have an energy tracker. So I'm just recording how energetic am I that day. And I think this is really cool to kind of put in the middle, because I'm going to see if there's a direct correlation between eating my fruits and vegetables and having more energy, and also the opposite, having less energy when I'm overeating or consuming a lot of junk food. Over here, I have the different types of hunger to help me be able to identify why I'm feeling hungry, and then tips and tricks for how to manage the different types of hunger, so that I don't wind up overeating, because it's really easy to overeat and to misidentify why you think you're hungry. So like one of the tips I think most people know is when you think you're hungry but you know you've recently ate, drink water, because you're probably just dehydrated. So yeah, that's that chart. Then we go over here. So that was the food trackers, and this is the physical health trackers. So I have a spot for my monthly cycle. Then up here I have my water tracker, and I'll correlate the amount of cups with the same thing right here. Then I have my mood tracker. And then I have a sleep tracker, and then those are the hours of sleep that I'll be recording. I want to see if being hydrated has a positive effect on my mood, as well as getting more sleep. And then also the opposite, if I'm not getting enough water or enough sleep, am I having a bad mood? Because I think these things correlate. Then we move on to my mental health tracker. So on the bottom is self-care. If I do a self-care item for the day, I will get to fill in one of these squares. Then I have an anxiety tracker. Again, this is in the middle because I want to see if I'm more anxious when I'm not doing any self-care. And also this top tracker, which is a productivity tracker. I feel like I also get more anxious or more depressed when I feel like I'm not being productive. So what I've decided to do is I'll give myself like 3 daily tasks or main tasks. And if I achieve those 3 things, then I will get this little pink. If I do more than 3 things, I'll be very productive that day. And then if I don't do my 3 main tasks, I'll be unproductive. So, yeah, that's what that is. I wanted to have the productivity as its own tracker because I tend to say that my mood is great when I'm very productive, and then I'm very hard on myself when I'm unproductive, and I'm like, no, it was a bad day because I wasn't productive. So this is a way for me to be less judgmental to myself and not let it affect my mood too much. Then we move on to the writing trackers. So this will be for my overall word counts for each month, as well as any wins, like if I finish a project or I tried out a new method of writing that allowed me to write more words. Anything I want to track for the month as far as writing goes, I can put it in these boxes. This is going to be a tracker that you are going to see throughout upcoming spreads. I just think it's useful and it's super easy to do. Then we have the subscribers. My ultimate goal for this channel would be to get enough subscribers to be monetized, because YouTube is putting ads on my videos anyway. So at least if I get monetized, I can decide where they put the ads in the video. And I'll be getting something back for them advertising on my platform. So I have these little squares. I think what I'll do is each month we'll have a different color. And if I'm able to get to the next level, I'll color it in for that month. So I can kind of see if certain months had more growth. I think a lot of people see a spike in the mid-year, when people do the mid-year freakout tag. I think that that's when people have a lot of rapid growth for some reason. It's kind of like the start of the year is fun for people, and then the middle of the year is fun for people too. So I would probably see some very slow growth at the beginning, and then maybe towards the middle it'll pop up. So down here, I can have room to put the date that I achieved the major milestones, as well as a little note to myself if there was anything in particular that I think really contributed to getting to that milestone. Same thing over here. I've got quarterly notes. So again, for that quarter, I can be like, okay, I started a new series on my channel that people really enjoyed, and that brought in subscribers. Or I was a co-host with this readathon, so that led to more subscribers. Or I was shouted out by so-and-so. Like anything that I think contributes to it, I'll make notes there. Or even if it's stuff that I'm doing, like, hey, I created 4 original tags that people really enjoyed. So And same as the opposite. If I'm like, oh, I was sick this month, I didn't make as much content, then again, I just kind of have a reason for why my channel's going the way it's going. But of course, when it comes to any sort of numbers, it's completely out of my control. So I never want to be the type who equates my channel growth with my self-worth or how valuable my content is, because I don't think that those things actually correlate. But it's really nice when they do look like they're correlating in the positive direction. Then we have a little tracker for the videos that I make. I've provided myself lots of room in case there's any months where I do want to do a video every day. So I have room for 210 videos. So I just put the date and the title of the video. Then we move on from YouTube to TikTok. I'm not trying to do anything specifically to grow on TikTok. I would like to use it again because I did enjoy using TikTok when I was more frequent on it. So same thing here. I can just write down any channel growth metrics or just anything fun I want to write down and remember about TikTok. Same thing for Instagram. I would actually like to start using Instagram because I have not been using it at all. I just think it's a cool platform, and I've bought stuff in the past to make cool images like fake flowers and stuff. So I would like to try it and see how it goes. Then we have Twitter. Twitter is always my least used platform. I don't really like Twitter, to be honest. It's not the best environment. I think Twitter can be extremely toxic. And so, yeah, I don't really like being on Twitter, but it can also be a great place for information where you are in community with other writers, as well as readathons and stuff like that. So it's kind of a necessary evil to me. So I need to start being active on Twitter. I have not been sharing my YouTube content anywhere, mostly because I don't want anyone that knows me to watch my YouTube content. So I haven't told any family members or anything. They know that I have a channel, but they don't know what it is. So I don't want anyone watching that I know. So I have not been sharing my videos on any social media. So who knows how I'm going to do that. But anyway, then we have the blog. I want to be active on my blog. That will give me website traffic, which is something that you need to do if you are an author. You just get people onto your website for one thing, and then you have a space to put all of your books. So if they like your blog content, they'll get curious and they'll click on that books tab to see what that's all about, and then they might buy your books. So content marketing, I think, is the best way to go. I don't like just self-promoting my stuff. I like to feel like I'm providing value to people who do come and check out my website. So I'll mostly be talking about other authors' books, and then I just hope that they get curious enough to check out my books. So that's just that's a marketing way to do it. But yeah, just the date of the post and the title of the post, and I've given myself room for 140. Do I plan on doing 140 posts? No. I think if I did 52, I would be happy. Then we have our all familiar spread. Again, this is just for any stats or any major things that I think may have contributed to excess growth in a particular month. Then we have other. So if I become more diligent in trying to grow my newsletter list or anything like that, I can use these boxes for that. Or if a new social media app pops up that everyone's using, I have space to record those metrics. I don't know that I'm going to worry about any of it this year or not, but at least I have a page for it if I do. Moving on to the writing trackers. Our all familiar spread. I don't feel like I need to explain this spread anymore. Y'all kind of know how I'm going to be using it regardless of what section this is in. Then I have my word count by pixels. I am going to give myself credit. If I can just write one word a day, I'm giving myself credit. So here's my different word counts. And hopefully it'll create a pretty rainbow, because some days I am just going to do one word. but other days I might do 5,000. And then here is for every 1,000 words that I write, I get to color in one of these boxes, and I am being very optimistic, and I have it up to 313,000 words, which is the equivalent of around 6 novels that are kind of like your basic, maybe shorter novels, but they're still novels. So gave myself plenty of room. Then we have kind of a Kanban board that has the different stages of writing. I don't always outline books, but when I do, I want a space to put that. So I'll just put like a sticky note with whatever project I'm working on and whatever stage it's in, and then just move the sticky note as I progress until the book is done. Then I have 8 brain dump things. So it's just this. It's just a blank page, and it's got a project number on the side. So I gave myself room for 8 projects. I don't think I'm going to be working on more than 8 projects. So that just gives me plenty of space. Any ideas that I have for the book randomly, I'll just write them down on my brain dump page, which is why there's no structure to it at all. I just want it very open and free and easy, so that instead of writing random stuff like, oh, I got this awesome scene for this book on a random envelope or piece of paper that I'll wind up throwing somewhere and never looking at it again, I'll have it all in one place. Now we move on to the section of this that you're probably more interested in, and that is going to be the bookish stuff. So the first is going to be the top 12, and I decided to make this easy, so I'm just picking the favorite book for each month just for simplicity. So it might not be accurate as far as the actual top 12 for the year, but it will be the top books for each month. So I'll just print off a picture of the cover and slap it in once I know what it is. Then we have the want to read shelf. So I have space for the title, the author, and the source. The source is going to be where I found out about the book. So most likely it's going to be either book of the month stuff, because I'm trying to resist making any book purchases this year. So instead, when it comes to like book of the month, I'll look at their selections. I'll decide which ones I would have purchased if money was no object, and then I will write down those books. And this will serve as a list for maybe when I want to take a break from my books that I own and I want to check out something from the library. I'll look at this list and I'll see if the library has one of those books instead of buying a book. So this will just kind of let me feel like I'm still getting to read new releases without actually purchasing the new releases. It also serves as a kind of future TBR list. So, you know, when I get done reading all the books on my shelves and I'm curious about other books that are out, I can kind of look at ones that have been released for a while that are on this list or that other people have recommended, and then I can make the determination of if I want to go buy the book or not. But this is not a wish list. This is simply I'm curious about this book for some reason, so I'm going to add it to this list to maybe look into more later. Then we have the acquired books. So this is divided in 2 sections. So one is for purchase books. I'm not wanting to really purchase any books, but I do have the space for that just in case. When I'm purchasing these books this year, my plan is to be using money that I got for special events like Christmas, birthday, anniversary, that sort of thing, not to be taking money out of our regular income. So yeah, or if my channel gets monetized at some point and I am getting ad revenue, that will just go straight back into buying books. So I have room for the price, the title, the month I acquired it, and then a check mark for if I finish the book. And then on this side, I have one for gifts. So same thing, month I got it, the title, who gifted it to me, whether that be a Goodreads giveaway, a family member, or one of you guys using my wish list. I never expect anything, but if I get anything, I have somewhere to kind of like credit y'all and give y'all a shout out on your about your channel, and then a check mark for if I have read the book. Then we have ebooks. This is pretty ambitious for me. 76 ebooks for the year. Sometimes it takes me a month to read an ebook because I mostly just read them at night when I'm in bed. So like a couple minutes before I go to sleep. So just room for title and star rating. Same thing for audiobooks, except for I've given myself a lot more room because I tend to have audiobooks for the majority of my reading. So I'll have 152 spaces. And then being super ambitious with physical reads. I think I read like 50 physical reads this year. I gave myself space for 152. So I got myself a little Dutch door that I made. Then the Goodreads goal. I don't have a particular goal this year, but what I'm going to do is when I finish a book, I'll draw a little box so the outline will represent the length of the book. So it'll be a certain color. And then the inside of the box will indicate the genre so that I can get a bird's eye view of kind of what I'm reading. Then we have Book of the Month. So they have a challenge for each year, and they give you something at the end of the year if you complete the challenge. So this year, it was a little sword envelope opener, letter opener. I think the year before that, it was a candle. I really hope it's a candle again for 2023, because I would much rather have that than a opener. But each year, one of the challenges is to read 12 books that you purchased through Book of the Month within like the last year. And so I don't need to acquire any new books to achieve this because I've purchased more than 12 books in the last year. Because your 2022 books count toward your goal. And then there should be 2 more challenges. So I'll have 2 columns here that look the same as this. That it'll just be half for each challenge. On this side, I will write down the books that are eligible to complete the prompts. And then I'll check them off when I read them. And then, of course, also move them over here to show that I've done it. Next is book clubs. So the first book club is the I Read Dead People Club. So I'll write down the title of the book, my star rating, and then my co-host, as well as live show dates or watch-along dates. And then here I have space for any other people's book clubs. So this is book clubs, not readathons, because those are 2 separate things. So I know I want to be participating in Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers book club, where she reads serialized classics. So the first one is The Count of Monte Cristo that starts in January, and I believe you read 10 chapters from each month. For that book. So I just need to record that in here. As well as I've participated in the Literature Book Club before, so I can write that down. And then, of course, different YouTubers also have book clubs or read-alongs that they do. If anyone is hosting a read-along for the Throne of Glass series, I'm definitely going to be participating if they start early enough in the year. So I would love to know that if y'all know if anyone's doing that, and I'll add that to here. Then we have my kind of genre sheet, but I've actually expanded it this year to include different types of diversity, and then just some interesting stats that I want to look at. So each month when I read a book that falls into this, or I do an activity that falls into this, then I will give myself credit by filling in the block for that month. So I have the months across the top, and then I have the different criteria that the book will meet on the side. As far as the diversity stuff, I've decided that I'm not going to give credit if it's just the author that falls into the category, because honestly, I feel like every single individual on Earth probably falls into one of these categories here. Every individual on Earth, I feel like, fits into at least one of those. So the other thing is, you can't just look at someone and determine all of these things about them, and they're not necessarily going to have them just posted for everyone to find out about. And so instead of just giving credit for reading diversity when it comes to the authors and kind of having to make a judgment call based off of their appearance, which can be very inaccurate. Instead, I'm only going to be checking off these diverse elements if it's actually present within the book itself, and in particular when it's a main character, not just like so-and-so's uncle is gay and they're just mentioned in the book, but they're not actually in the book. And then I'm not going to do LGBTQI. So hopefully that makes sense to y'all, and that's kind of the reason why I'm doing that. Most books will include one of these things, but what I have seen is that when they do include one of these things, a lot of times it is a side character, a very minor character, and it's not a super important part in the book. So I just want to do kind of like your main characters. But yeah, here's the other things that I'm looking at. This says non-fantasy, if y'all were curious. I know it's kind of hard to read. So non-US setting, not fantasy, because all fantasies are not in the US. There is a thing called urban fantasy, but urban fantasy is really just paranormal. So that's where that would fall. So yeah, here's the different things. Some of these I don't want to really have checked off. So I don't want to be borrowing a lot of books. I want to be focusing on my own shelf. But I do want to kind of see how that's going. And then the purchased book of the month is going to be books that I already purchased through Book of the Month subscription, so that I make sure I'm reading my backlist of books that I've bought from them. Catch-up book is going to be a book that allows me to catch up in a series or to catch up on an author's backlist. Then we move on to my words versus books. I have a really hard time balancing my reading with writing books, so I tend to do one or the other. I have a year where I'm just constantly writing, or I have a year where I'm mostly just reading. So this year was definitely a reading year, but I want to have more balance next year. So what I've decided to do is I've given myself the challenge of, for every book that I read, I must write 1,000 words. Very, very minimal challenge. That's like 4 book pages worth of writing, 1,000 words is. So I can write 4 book pages worth. That's like 2 typed pages of text for every book that I read. And I think that that will help me achieve some balance. And the more books that I read, the more I'll wind up writing. So it's just a win-win. I read 226 books this year. So if I were to do this challenge this year, I would have written 226,000 words, which is the equivalent of 4 novels. That would have been amazing. So yeah, one column is going to be the words written. The other column is going to be the books. Now this only goes to 37. So it's okay though, because I also have this chart over here. So let's say I did NaNoWriMo and I won and I wrote 50,000 words. Then I would put my actual word count here, and then the books read here. And then down here, we have the words versus books for the year. So it's okay, say, if I only write 10,000 words in January and I read 15 books, but then the next month I do 5,000 words more than the books that I read. So it can even out, and that will still be a win. If I can lift this thing. Next is going to be my DNF shelf. I'm really excited about this. I want to become a DNF queen. So I've given myself room for 76 DNFs. I think I want to do a challenge where I sample all of the books on my shelves within the year. So like every single day, I would be trying a new book, reading a couple of pages and determining if I want to keep the book or if I want to unhaul it. So I have lots of room to get rid of books. So I'll have the title and then the reason why I'm getting rid of it as well. Then we have my 5-star shelf. I just decided to go with 2 different colors because this spread was supposed to be very orange. This one was supposed to be yellow. And this one was supposed to be green, and I messed up and I did yellow again. So I made up for it by splitting this spread with the 2 colors so I could have my full rainbow. So here, I just write down the books that were 5 stars. That's it. It's super simple. Being optimistic, 76 5-star reads would be amazing. And if I achieve becoming DNF Queen, the likelihood of me reading more 5 stars is just going to keep increasing, because I'm going to be DNFing books that I don't believe have the capability of being at least a good 4-star or 5-star, which are high ratings for me. All right, then we have my wish list. So just the title, and then if I wind up acquiring the book, then I will check it off. So this is going to be books that I actually would want to purchase. So continuations in series that I've already started, or books from favorite authors, that sort of thing. So this is going to be books that I will put on my wish list on Amazon for people to peruse. And then if they want to get me something, they can get me something off of that. Those are priority books that I will read. And because I'm trying not to buy any books, those are the books like I want people to get me. So I'll be like, all right, honey, my birthday's coming up. Go look at my Amazon wish list and get me some books off of there, because those are the books that I need to be reading. So all of those books are books that I'm like ready to read. And so yeah, they're priority books. So I will put them in there. And then this page is just kind of empty. There's no dots on it. So I just did the flap so that it would, have the whole rainbow across. But yeah, those are all of my 2023 spreads. Let me know down below in the comments which of these was your favorite. Do you like my whole bullet journal setup for 2023? These, again, are yearly spreads. This is not my day-to-day bullet journal. I'm going to have a separate bullet journal for that, I've ordered, and it's getting shipped to me. So anyway, I'm excited for 2023. Let me know if you have any goals, or if you've also done a bullet journal flip through for 2023. Let me know so I can check out your channel and watch that. But that is all for today. When I finish doing my 2022 spreads, if y'all want to see a 2022 yearly setup flip through, I have not only my yearly spreads, but I also have my day-to-day in 2 different bullet journals. So it'd be 3 bullet journal flip throughs in one video. So yeah, let me know what you think. But other than that, that's all I've got for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with friends, and leave a comment. And I will see you all later. Bye.